Have you ever stood in the middle of a noisy world, yearning for stillness that never seems to arrive? Life pulls us in 1,000 directions: responsibilities, expectations, regrets, and fears. And yet, beneath the surface of all this chaos, there is a quiet place within us, waiting to be remembered. For over 2,000 years, the teachings of the Buddha have whispered the same gentle truth. Peace is not something we chase, but something we uncover when we stop clinging. When we learn to let go, not in bitterness, but in quiet acceptance, we begin to return to our natural state of freedom. This journey is not about escaping life, but about meeting it fully, without resistance, without grasping. Through ancient parables and timeless insights, we will walk together through the teachings of detachment, trust, and surrender. You'll come to see that detachment is not coldness. It is the warmth of a mind no longer at war with what is. It is the soft strength of allowing things to come and allowing them to go. So if you're ready to step beyond the noise and into the stillness that has always been yours, let us begin. This is a path of clarity, of compassion, of returning home to the present moment, one breath at a time. Lesson 1. The gentle power of letting go. There's an old story whispered among monks. A young student once carried a delicate porcelain bowl, a gift from his teacher. He admired it, protected it, and treated it with great care. But one day, the bowl slipped from his hands and shattered into pieces. The monk was heartbroken. Calmly, his teacher looked at him and said, "That bowl was already broken the moment it was made." This simple statement holds a profound truth about life. Detachment does not mean we stop caring or loving. It means we stop pretending that things will last forever. It's not indifference, it's wisdom. We often hold tightly to people, memories, and expectations, fearing their loss. We cling to relationships that no longer serve us, to past versions of ourselves, or to dreams that no longer fit who we are. We think letting go means giving up. But in reality, letting go is the beginning of freedom. It doesn't mean we love less. It means we stop holding love hostage to control or fear. In Buddhist teachings, attachment is seen as the root of suffering. We cling to the illusion of permanence, even though everything around us is constantly changing. The world never stays still. Everything is moving, shifting, evolving. The river doesn't try to hold on to the water that flows through it. It simply lets it pass, knowing more will come. In the same way, we can learn to live in flow, to stop fighting life's natural movement. Often, what feels like loss in the moment is actually space being made for something more aligned, something that nourishes us in a deeper way. But when we're trapped in fear or anxiety, we miss that truth. Practicing detachment doesn't mean we turn our back on what we love. It means we love with open hands instead of closed fists. It means we cherish what we have while we have it, and when it changes, as all things do, we remain at peace. Real detachment is not about giving up, but about being free enough to accept change without crumbling. And once we begin to let go, we open ourselves to the next step on the path, learning to receive what life brings with grace and openness. Lesson 2. Radical acceptance, meeting life. As it is, a young disciple once came to his master, his heart heavy with frustration. "Master," he said, "I suffer because life is not the way I want it to be." The master smiled gently and replied, "You suffer because you resist what is. Life wasn't made to please you. It was made to awaken you." These words hold the essence of what Buddhism calls radical acceptance. It's not about giving up or becoming passive. It's about seeing clearly, without illusion, without clinging to the way we believe life should be. What makes acceptance so difficult is the mind's insistence on control. We create stories about how everything must go according to our plan. We believe if we try hard enough, life will obey us. But reality doesn't bend to our expectations. It unfolds on its own terms. Imagine standing at the shore and seeing a wave approaching. You can scream at it, try to block it, or deny it, but the wave will come just the same. The wiser choice is to dive in and move with it. In life too, we encounter waves, events we cannot control. Resistance only deepens the suffering. Acceptance allows us to move with life instead of against it. But acceptance is not the same as resignation. It's not about staying in painful situations or tolerating what's unjust. It means we stop denying what is real. Once we acknowledge the truth of a moment, whether it's joy, pain, loss, or change, we are free to choose our response with clarity. Like an archer who cannot control the wind, we learn to adjust our aim. We stop wasting energy on what we can't change and start focusing on what is within our reach. Sometimes we resist reality because we think acceptance means weakness. But the opposite is true. Acceptance is power. It frees us from the constant battle with what should have been and helps us return to the present. When we stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this teaching me?" we shift from victimhood to growth. That single shift opens the door to healing. Radical acceptance also means embracing ourselves completely. Many of us carry shame for past decisions or blame ourselves for not being perfect. But transformation never comes from punishment. It comes from compassion. Only when we make peace with our imperfections can true change begin. The monk who lost his cherished bowl eventually realized that nothing was truly lost. Everything happened exactly as it needed to. In that realization, he found peace. And so can we. When we stop resisting life's natural flow, we find something deeper than happiness. We find serenity. That serenity gives rise to trust. Trust that what is meant for us will never miss us. And what is not, no matter how tightly we hold on, will eventually fade. In the next part of our journey, we'll explore the wisdom hidden in ancient Buddhist stories, reminders that life always gives us what we truly need, even when we cannot see it at first. Lesson 3. Trusting life's timing. The wisdom beneath uncertainty. In a quiet mountain village, an old monk lived a life of simplicity. One morning, a wild horse wandered into his garden. The villagers were thrilled. "How lucky you are," they exclaimed. "A wild horse is a great fortune." But the monk, calm and steady, replied, "Fortune or misfortune, who can say?" Days later, his son tried to tame the horse, only to fall and break his leg. The villagers gasped. "What bad luck," they cried. Again the monk responded, "Fortune or misfortune, who can say?" Weeks passed and war broke out. All the young men were taken to fight, except the monk's son, who remained behind due to his injury. Once again, the villagers called him lucky, and once again, the monk gently repeated, "Who can say?" This story speaks to a truth we often resist. We rarely understand the full meaning of what happens in the moment. We label things as good or bad too quickly, based on a limited view. But life operates on a scale far beyond our immediate perception. What feels like loss today may open the door to a blessing tomorrow. Sometimes the detours and disappointments are life's way of guiding us home. Think of the times you thought everything was falling apart, only to later realize it was falling into place. The job you lost, the door that closed, the person who left, each may have led you toward a deeper truth, a better opportunity, or a more authentic path. Trusting in the unfolding of life doesn't mean we stop acting. It means we stop trying to control what isn't ours to control. There's another Buddhist tale that deepens this truth. A man once saw a butterfly struggling to emerge from its cocoon. Wanting to help, he gently opened it to free the creature. But the butterfly's wings were weak and it never learned to fly. What the man didn't realize was that the struggle was necessary. It was through that effort that the butterfly's wings would gain strength. In trying to help, he had interrupted the process and robbed the butterfly of its power. This is often what we do in our own lives. We push, we force, we rush. We want answers now, Results now, clarity now. But growth takes time, healing takes patience, and wisdom takes silence. Life has its own rhythm, and when we trust it, we find peace not in the speed of progress, but in the depth of presence. Trusting life doesn't mean sitting still. It means doing what we can with presence and care, then releasing the rest. Like a farmer who plants his seeds, waters his fields, and waits. He doesn't pull on the sprouts to make them grow. He understands that everything unfolds in its own time. Buddhism invites us to be observers, not judges. To meet each moment not with resistance, but with curiosity. What is this here to teach me? Often, the answers aren't immediate. But in time, if we look closely, we begin to see that everything in life, both joy and sorrow, has served a purpose. Learning to live with uncertainty is not easy, but it is freeing. It allows us to breathe more deeply, to fear less, and to stop grasping for control over things we were never meant to hold. Because in the end, what is truly meant for us will find its way, and what is not, no matter how tightly we cling, will gently fall away. And as we walk this path of trust, we are not left empty-handed. Buddhism offers us a powerful tool, one that helps us return to ourselves in moments of confusion and chaos. That tool is meditation. Lesson 4. The practice of meditation to cultivate inner peace. In a peaceful Buddhist monastery, tucked away from the noise of the world, a young disciple once approached his wise master and shared his struggle. "Master, my mind is a whirlwind of thoughts. I try to find peace, but the more I try, the more restless I become." The master, calm and gentle, handed him a glass of water filled with dirt and asked him to shake it. After the disciple did, the master simply said, "Now wait." As time passed, the dirt slowly sank to the bottom and the water became clear again. "This is your mind," the master explained. "When you let it settle, clarity comes on its own." This simple but profound teaching reveals the true essence of meditation. It's not about forcing the mind to stop or erasing our thoughts. It's about allowing stillness. In that stillness, the chaos within us begins to settle. Meditation in Buddhism is a sacred practice not to escape reality, but to understand it more deeply. It teaches us to observe without judgment, to accept what arises, and to allow each moment to pass without clinging. In today's world, we're surrounded by noise, constant notifications, endless news, and the pressure of expectations keep our minds busy. But when we meditate, we step away from this noise. We give our minds the space to breathe, and our hearts the room to be. It's in this silence that we discover what truly matters, not from the world outside, but from the still voice within. Modern science, too, supports what ancient monks have known for centuries. Meditation helps reduce stress, sharpen focus, improve sleep, and even strengthen the immune system. But beyond the physical benefits, it gives us the priceless gift of inner peace, a space within us, untouched by fear, sadness, or anxiety. More importantly, meditation teaches us about impermanence. When we close our eyes and simply breathe, we see how every thought, every emotion is like a cloud drifting across the sky. It appears, floats for a while, and then fades. The sky, the awareness remains unchanged. In this way, we understand that all things, even suffering, are temporary. This awareness frees us from holding on too tightly to anything. Many people believe they can't meditate because their minds are too busy. But that busyness is exactly why meditation is needed. Meditation is not about silencing the mind, but witnessing its movement without getting lost in it. Think of thoughts as leaves flowing down a river. Just observe them. Don't chase or resist them. Simply be the riverbank, calm and unmoving. Among the many techniques in Buddhism, one of the most accessible is breath meditation. You don't need anything fancy, just a quiet place and your breath. Sit still, close your eyes, and gently focus on the air entering and leaving your nostrils. When your mind drifts kindly, guide it back. There's no judgment, no pressure, just presence. Another gentle practice is gratitude meditation. Each day, take a few moments to reflect on things you're thankful for. This shifts your mindset, helping you focus on abundance rather than lack. It opens your heart and makes space for joy. And then there's letting go meditation. If you're holding on to pain, imagine that burden resting in your hands. With each breath, release it bit by bit. Exhale the weight. Inhale peace. It's simple, yet deeply healing. Through daily meditation, we slowly change. We become less reactive, more grounded, and more attuned to life. We begin to live in the present, no longer shackled by regret or worry. We understand that we don't need to control everything. We begin to flow. And this state of flow, this harmony with life, leads us gently into the next step of our journey. Learning to surrender and trust the natural rhythm of the universe. Lesson 5. Letting go of control and flowing with the universe. By the edge of a quiet river, a master and his disciple stood in silence, watching the water move effortlessly over stones, curving gently around obstacles, flowing without force or hesitation. The master turned to his disciple and said softly, "See how the river does not resist, it simply flows." In that simple observation lay one of the deepest truths of Buddhist philosophy. Peace is not found in controlling life, but in learning to let go and trust the current. So many of us cling. We try to shape our lives like sculptors, molding stone, planning, organizing, and overthinking every moment in the hope of avoiding pain and securing happiness. But life is not stone. It is a river, always moving, always changing. And when we try to resist its flow, when we grip too tightly to our plans, our expectations, or the approval of others, we suffer. Buddhism reminds us that letting go is not weakness, it is strength. To release our grip on what we cannot control is to free ourselves. We may give love, but we cannot guarantee it will be returned. We may work hard, but the outcome is never fully ours. We may care for our health, but illness may still visit. Accepting this truth does not mean giving up. It means embracing life with openness, not fear. There's an old Buddhist tale of a man who found himself hanging from the branch of a tree at the edge of a cliff. His arms trembled, his strength fading, but he was too afraid to let go. What he didn't know was that just below him lay solid ground. If only he had released his fear, he would have landed safely. But fear blinded him. This is how many of us live, clinging to what no longer serves us, paralyzed by the illusion of control. We hold on to relationships that deplete us, careers that no longer align with our hearts, and dreams that have quietly expired. We believe that letting go is failure, but often it's the doorway to freedom. The future is uncertain. It always will be. But uncertainty is not the enemy. It is the space where possibility lives. When we shift from fear to curiosity, the unknown becomes a path rather than a prison. Letting go also means detaching from outcomes. Imagine a painter who paints not for praise, but for the joy of creation. Or a child who plays not to win, but because play itself is enough. When we act without obsession over results, our lives become lighter, our spirits freer. And once again, meditation becomes our compass. In silence, we begin to see our fears clearly. We stop running from them. We watch them rise like clouds in the sky and drift away. We realize that not everything demands our control. Not everything is a problem to solve. Some things are simply to be witnessed and released. To let go is not to surrender to chaos, but to trust in the rhythm of life. It is knowing that we may not have control over the path, but we do have control over our response. And when we let go, truly let go, we create space for grace, compassion, and self-kindness. Because the deepest letting go is not of the world outside us, but of the judgment and weight we carry within. Lesson 6. Compassion for oneself and others. A monk once saw a man striking his chest and crying out in despair. "Master," the man sobbed, "I've made many mistakes. I've hurt those I love. I cannot forgive myself." The monk gently replied, "If a bird breaks its own wing for making a mistake in flight, how can it ever fly again?" Guilt is the stone that stops us from moving forward. Compassion is the wind that lets us continue. This simple yet powerful exchange reveals one of the deepest truths in Buddhism. Compassion is the path forward, not just for others, but for ourselves. We often think compassion is only about being kind to those around us, but true compassion begins within. How often do we criticize ourselves in ways we'd never speak to someone we love? We judge our past, punish our flaws, and carry our guilt like heavy stones. But this harshness doesn't help us grow. It only holds us back. Growth happens through patience, through understanding, through the gentle waters of self-kindness, not through the blows of shame. In Buddhist tradition, there is a beautiful practice called metta bhavana, or loving-kindness meditation. It begins by repeating phrases such as "May I be well," "May I be happy," "May I live in peace." At first, it might feel strange. Many people struggle to wish themselves happiness, but it's through this practice that we learn. If we can't treat ourselves with love, how can we truly offer love to anyone else? Compassion also means realizing we are all works in progress. Nobody is born knowing how to live. We stumble, we make mistakes, we learn. What matters is not perfection, but progress. Self-compassion gives us the space to grow, to heal, and to move forward without the burden of guilt. But compassion doesn't mean accepting harm or becoming passive. It doesn't mean justifying others' behavior or suppressing our pain. It means choosing peace over bitterness. It means responding with wisdom instead of hatred. A monk once told a man carrying a sack of stones his grudges and resentments to let them go. You don't need to carry them to continue your journey. In holding on to anger, we only weigh ourselves down. As the Buddhist saying goes, holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it. You are the one who gets burned. So how do we cultivate compassion, especially when we've been hurt? First, by understanding that people often hurt others from their own pain. This doesn't excuse them, but it allows us to stop taking their actions personally. Second, by giving ourselves permission to heal. We are not meant to carry every wound forever. Third, by recognizing that compassion is strength, not weakness. It takes far more courage to forgive than to stay angry. It takes true inner power to let go of what harms us. Compassion transforms everything. When we stop reacting from fear or pain and start acting from love and awareness, our lives soften. We become more patient, more forgiving, more at peace. This shift changes not only how we relate to others, but how we experience the world. It opens our hearts, calms our minds, and brings us closer to true inner freedom. In the next and final lesson, we'll explore how to integrate these teachings into daily life, so that wisdom, peace, and compassion aren't just ideas, but a living practice that transforms every step we take. Lesson 7. Living Buddhism in everyday life. A young monk once asked his master, "How long until I reach enlightenment?" The master gently replied, "If you rush, it will take longer. If you walk with patience, it will come sooner than you expect." This small exchange holds a powerful truth. Enlightenment is not a destination, it's a way of moving through life. The real teachings of Buddhism aren't meant to be stored in books or only understood in theory. They're meant to be lived, practiced, and slowly woven into the fabric of our daily lives. It's not enough to understand that attachment brings suffering if we continue to cling to people, outcomes, or beliefs. It's not enough to talk about acceptance while resisting everything that challenges our peace. Wisdom doesn't live in ideas. It comes to life when we practice. So how do we bring these teachings into our everyday world? We begin with detachment. Detachment doesn't mean cutting ourselves off from life. It means being fully present with everything, but not needing to own or control it. When joy comes, receive it with gratitude. When something or someone leaves, feel the emotion, but don't cling. Ask yourself honestly, am I holding on out of love or out of fear? That answer will show you whether it's time to let go. Next, embrace radical acceptance. Start your day with a simple question. What can I accept today? It might be a difficult conversation, a stressful task, or a part of yourself you usually judge. Acceptance is not weakness, it's clarity. When we stop resisting reality, we begin to act wisely. Then comes trust. Trust that life knows what it's doing, even when things don't go your way. Like the monk who trusted his journey, ask not, why is this happening? But what is this teaching me? Slowly, you'll discover meaning in places you never thought to look. Fourth, build a habit of daily meditation. It doesn't need to be long. Even 5 minutes of stillness, just you and your breath, can anchor your day in peace. Meditation won't erase your problems, but it will reshape how you meet them. Over time, you'll react less, observe more, and live with a deeper sense of calm. Fifth, let go of control. Life isn't meant to be micromanaged. Like an archer who releases the arrow without needing to control where it lands, we must do our part and surrender the rest. When things don't go your way, breathe, pause, and ask, how can I flow with this instead of against it? Often, the most beautiful moments are the ones we never planned. And finally, practice compassion, not just for others, but for yourself. A kind word, a small gesture, or a smile can change someone's day. But the deepest kindness begins within. Don't judge yourself for being imperfect. Speak to yourself like you would to a friend, gently, honestly, and with love. Some days you'll forget everything. That's okay. Return to the path again and again. Buddhism isn't about perfection. It's about presence. It's about walking gently, falling and rising. Not once, but many times. The real path isn't found in temples or silence alone. It's found in traffic, in conversations, in disappointments, and in small moments of stillness. This is where we live the teachings, not by trying to be perfect, but by showing up with awareness, compassion, and trust. Each day is a new beginning, a fresh chance to breathe deeper, cling less, and live with a little more peace. Conclusion. As you walk this path of awareness, remember that transformation isn't a single moment. It's a gentle unfolding. It's not about becoming someone new, but returning to the calm, wise presence that was always within you. Each step, each breath, each choice you make toward acceptance, detachment, and compassion brings you closer to peace. Let go of the need to control everything. Trust the flow of life. You don't need to rush toward enlightenment. You only need to stay awake as you journey through your days. In your ordinary life, in your routines, struggles, and quiet moments, lies the sacred opportunity to live with intention and grace. So take a moment now. Breathe deeply. Reflect on what you've learned. And ask yourself, what small change can I make today to live more fully, more presently, more peacefully? If this message resonated with you, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who may need this wisdom today. Your support helps us continue sharing these timeless teachings with the world. And remember, peace begins not in the world around you, but but in the stillness within. Thank you for walking this path with us.